Right, get ready for this one, chums. This is a bit different. I'm making everything from scratch, basically, because I can't find anything that appeals out on the open market. Good old free market capitalism isn't providing anything, and what little there is hyper expensive. There's one little toy figure of this ghastly fellow, and there's one sculpted, I think it's resin thing, that's going for about 500 quid, which is a joke. So it's all scratch built, so to speak. And what are we doing? What is this Dr. Caligari thing? It is a film, possibly the greatest film ever made, in my opinion. Work was going on it in 1919, and it came out in 1920. So it's 100 years old, and we're on the very end of 2020. So I thought this would be a good thing to do, because it's considered a horror. I'd say it was something beyond that. It's an unnerving, and it's from the German Expressionist school, broadly speaking, which was at its height between the First and the Second World War, before Hitler got in. He didn't like it. I don't know why. I think it's fantastic, but he and I disagree on a couple of things. Anyway, so yes, it's a German Expressionist film, 1919 to 1920. It is really very different. Interestingly, some of the people involved in it said at the time, and critics and observers have noticed since, that it seems to be consciously anti-Hollywood, which is very interesting for 100 years ago. But already Hollywood was being seen as mass production and somewhat bland, so they wanted to come up with something else, and Germany needed to express itself at that time, so it's something very different. The people, the costumes, the makeup was very theatrical but overdone, and the sets in particular are what catch my eye. Most of them are made out of cardboard and plywood and, you know, thin, cheap stuff. They are extraordinary. They are like illustrations from a nightmare. And that's the kind of thing that attracts my attention, particularly cinematically. So I'd like to make a model to mark the 100th year of this great film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The concept is, first of all, I'm not going to imitate. I'm not going to try and make something that you could put on an identity parade and say, yes, that's the character, and that's the specific actor, and so on. None of that. I want to take this for a walk. I want to expand on some of the stuff that was going on. So I'm going to make a set based on one particularly dramatic and iconic shot. I'm going to make a figure based on the figure in the shot and another iconic shot from elsewhere in the film, and combine the two. And what I'm going to do in particular is take the figure elsewhere stylistically and borrow from the work of a 20th century sculptor called Giacometti, who did iconic and very famous sculptures of the human form. And I'm going to try and combine all of that in one thing. So here we go, Mr. Big Ideas. Here's our cuddly young fellow, made out of potter's clay, two different, one type of milliput, and a little bit of a covering of Humbrol model filler here and there. So let's just try that again, shall we? Potter's clay, milliput, and Humbrol model filler. And he's got to go away to dry, but he's very much what I had hoped for. I'm pleased with him. He doesn't look enough like Caesar to be, just a bland imitation. and he doesn't look enough like a Giacometti to be a bland imitation. Imitation is rubbish. Inspiration and development is less rubbish. Let's put it that way. So there we go. That's my art theory for today. So we've got to let him dry quite a lot and then get him painted up. And then instead of him carrying a woman, he's going to carry an empty shawl thing, shroud. That's what I mean. And here he is. I've sprayed him with a kind of dark grey metal. Not really gunmetal, more like smooth polished lead. And he's come out just the way I wanted him. So I'm pleased with that. A little bit of shine, a little bit of sort of metallic, but not too much. And so he's going to stand on basically some cardboard boxes, because a lot of the film sets were made out of cardboard and plywood and stuff like that. So I want the cardboardy nature to come through. I want its difference to be apparent. So that's the next step. Get that done and I think painted. Actually, while the glue and paint and stuff is drying, we'll move on to the woman he's abducted, which is very unfortunate for her. And here's our man with his woman, if you get my drift. Here's our man with a little more than a spirit, shall we say. Everything else has gone. So we have a spectral captive, and she is made of kind of fancy wrapping tissue paper. A couple of layers of it all scrunched up over a frame of sticks, don't know what they were, and then covered in several layers of thin varnish, so she has a little bit of sheen to her. And that's kind of pretty much what I had in mind, so that's okay. Oops. And here he is at a rather rakish angle. We'll shift him around a bit so we can see him properly. But here he is with his girlfriend, who is a little more than a vapour. And here he is in his rather German expressionist landscape. As I say, all designed to be rather wonky, rather weird and wild, and definitely made out of cardboard and pens in this case. So yes, we've got this figure now, and we've got a wraith-like woman in his grip, suggesting he has nothing at all, and we're sort of there with ghastly, disturbing and vaguely German expressionist. So vague will do at this point, because as I keep saying, what I don't want to do is impersonate. And now hopefully this is coming out in a kind of black and white, so we get a little bit more atmosphere this time, and I'll do a couple of photographs so that we can see him in his native environment, shall we say. There he is. This is, you won't believe it, I know, but this is precisely what I had in mind. So I'm fairly pleased about that, and I do like the figure. I may find another use for him at some point. So don't be disheartened that he looks horrific. As I keep saying, that's the plan. Here's our Caesar, or Cesare, updated. Well, the film was definitely a masterpiece. I leave it up to you what you make of this, what we could loosely call a diorama. It came out how I wanted it. This is what I wanted. It's probably not what anybody else ever wanted to be a part of, enjoy, experience, whatever. There's some various photographs now through various marvellous magic processes that you can do on the camera by twiddling a thing. So just to give it different qualities and a tiny bit of moving film too. So anyway, here's to 100 years or more of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, a true cinematic masterpiece of style and, thinking hard and that kind of thing, creativity. I enjoyed doing this, this was a lot of fun. I don't think I'd get away with it if it was something like Star Wars, would I? Very, very different style. A little bit more graphic, shall we say. So anyway, it leaves me to say thank you for staying with this. I hope this step out in a different direction has been enjoyable, and I don't think I'll be doing many more like this, to be quite honest, but yes, it was fun. So if the way to stop me is for somebody to make a product that I can go and buy. That's the only way. Otherwise, you never know, there could be more of these. So here's my tribute to it. Who knows? Maybe I'll put it on eBay for £40,000 or something and see if it goes. I'll let you all know so that you can save up your pocket money if I ever do. So yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. And I don't know that we're going to go back to normal quite yet. I think I've got another figure on the way, more related to the new year. So we'll get that. So thanks for watching. See you soon with something else odd. Cheers.